Today, Baba asks us a very beautiful question about what should we children be enthusiastic about. And I was just thinking, you see, there is so much lack of enthusiasm today. Yes, and if you look around in the world, the one thing that's missing in the personality of most people is enthusiasm. There is no zeal, there is no enthusiasm, there is disheartenment. And this is the state of the world today. People are using the word depression very casually. And everybody is saying, depression, and we are moving towards depression. But let's take disheartenment. So you see that everybody is, when we start out as children, we are all, chasing limited goals. The goal of coming first in the class, or the goal of getting a certain percentage of marks, and then the goal of, winning a championship or a trophy, or being the rank holder for something. So it starts very early on, and we are given many goals. But what happens is, those goals that we are given are not completely in our power to achieve. Because you see, if you aim for getting 100%, maybe you could. But you aim for coming first in the class, maybe you can't. Because even if you get 100%, maybe there are 3 people getting 100%. And then you're not first in the class. You're one of 3. So you see, all these aims that we are given since childhood until now, and then you see there are so many limitations that come in the way, so many things that come in the way. And so physical aims are impeded by physical limitations. Yes, so let's say you want to win a beauty contest. Yes, can you go and win a beauty contest just like that? No, you see, you are given a body, and then you cannot win a beauty contest if everybody doesn't approve that this body is beautiful. So that is why you see there are so many physical limitations to the aims and limited goals that are given in the world. And because, when we start chasing them, then you slowly encounter those obstacles, and then what comes up is disheartenment. Yes, so there is a lot of disheartenment because we come to face with our limitations, and then we cannot accept them, and then there is a lot of disheartenment. So even people who start out with very lofty aims, somewhere in the way they become disheartened, because physical ambitions, limited ambitions, they are not absolutely easy to achieve. You need a lot of, you need luck on your side, you need so many things on your side, you need all the ingredients that are necessary to excel in that area to be on your side. And then those factors are physical, so they may or may not be on your side. Then you see, so that is why there is a lot of disheartenment in the world. Now, Baba today, when Baba comes, Baba also gives us an aim. And you see, we do the course with Baba, and then Baba says you have an aim and objective. And what is that aim and objective? Baba says your aim and objective is to become like Lakshmi Narayan. So that is the aim that Baba gives us. And Baba says, an aim, and in my experience, aim is very necessary for enthusiasm. If you do not have any aim in life, then you will slowly, go into dejection and sadness and other stuff, because there is nothing to keep you going. There is no motivation in life. There is no driving force in life. So enthusiasm and aim are connected. So you need enthusiasm in life, and in order to have that enthusiasm, you need an aim. So Baba says, I give you this aim that you become like Sri Lakshmi Narayan. And you see, the interesting thing is, you can become like Sri Lakshmi Narayan if you try, because it is not about having something, achieving something, gaining something, getting something physical. It is about becoming. And you see, in the world, we do not have the aim to become. You have the aim to become a doctor, which means your aim is to work like a doctor. Your aim is not to be like a doctor. So nobody tells you that, what are the inner qualities of a doctor, kindness or compassion or patience. So you do not become a doctor. You just, train yourself to work like a doctor. You operate like a doctor. There is no becoming. So we are always focused on the doing, not the being. But when Baba comes, Baba says, I give you the aim to be, not to do. And your aim is to become like Lakshmi Narayan. And becoming like Lakshmi Narayan is about inner work. And the physical limitations are not the limitations that can stop you from becoming Lakshmi Narayan. So the only limitations that you have to cross are the limitations of your sanskars and your belief systems and your tendencies, your nature. So these are the limitations that you have to cross. Otherwise, there are no limitations to becoming Lakshmi Narayan. And Baba says, when your aim is to become like Lakshmi and Narayan, it will keep you constantly motivated. It will keep you always enthusiastic, because you will only become that at the end of this journey. And you see, sometimes people have very limited aims, like I have to raise these 2 children, or I have to make a house, or I have to, accumulate this much money. And then what happens is, when you have done that, then what happens to the enthusiasm? That enthusiasm starts asking you, now what? Now this is over, now what? So life is over now. But Baba says this aim will give you a lot, will keep you enthusiastic for all your life. Because this is not an aim that you will achieve before completion, because Baba says when you become eligible to become a deity, then you will go and become a deity. So until the end of this life, this aim can keep you motivated. So Baba says, this is why have the constant enthusiasm to become like Lakshmi Narayan. And Baba says, do not get disheartened, move with courage. Baba says there are no physical limitations. You see, Baba has finished all physical limitations for us. Yes, some children, they said we can't go to the center, so Baba opened online classes for them. Some say, I have this limitation, that limitation. Baba solves everything. But the only limitation is your sanskars. Now, if you say, I can't get up in the morning, then that's a limitation you have to cross with courage. So Baba also underlines courage today. And you need courage to overcome the limitations of the mind, overcome the limitations of your sanskar. So what is courage? What is the definition of courage? Courage is taking, sticking to your one powerful thought in the face of all the different thoughts and feelings that your sanskars are bombarding you with, or Maya is bombarding you with. So that requires courage. And you see, do you know how to build courage? Because you see, even when, people, these days, they go for adventure and they think that the act of courage is to jump from a height into a valley or something. Now, do you know when they climb that place high above, then what happens? They chicken out, they feel very afraid. And then again, they have to motivate themselves. I can do this, I can do this. And then, finally they take that leap. So Baba says, similarly, in this aim, in the fulfillment of this aim to become Lakshmi and Narayan, you will be disheartened many times. Or you will not be disheartened, but you will have those thoughts which could lead to disheartenment. But then those thoughts are not about anything physical. It's about, maybe it stems from something physical, but then it is your sanskar that is stopping you. And you have to overcome that weak thought with a determined, powerful thought through courage. Yes, and you know what is the law in Sangam Yuga? One step of courage of the child and 1,000 steps of help from Baba. And you only need one step of courage. If you take that one step of courage, then you will receive 1,000 steps of help. But you need to take that first step. I'll tell you one, so before that example, what is the path to becoming Lakshmi Narayan? So we got the aim, we got that we need courage to reach the aim, but what is the path? The path is purity. Because the basic difference between a human and a deity is purity. And Baba says, in order to become pure, you have to study every day, you have to remember Baba, you have to embrace celibacy and purity of every kind, and you have to do seva. Now, all these 4 subjects of Raj Yoga, when you start moving ahead on this, then what happens is Maya will try to, disturb you a lot in all these 4 subjects. And there you need courage. I will tell you one incident. So, there was this Mata, and she told her husband that, she refused to go into impurity. And then the husband was very upset. And then this Mata, what the husband did was, he locked her up in a room. And so the bedroom, he just locked that bedroom and he put a lock on it. And he said that, I will not open it and I will not allow you to get out of that room and do any Amrit Vela or do anything. And every day you're doing this, and because of this, you're changing slowly, gradually. So he just said, I'll not open that lock. And he took away all the watches and clocks from that room so that the Mata is not able to know the time. And then he said, I will open the room in the morning tomorrow when we get up. I will not allow you to meditate and listen to Murli and stuff. And then this Mata, she did not get afraid. So you see, in that moment, what the husband was trying to do is scare her, right? But then the act of courage in that time is not to fight with him. The act of courage is not to get scared. And then she didn't get scared. She said, okay, you do whatever you want to do. I'm not stopping you. And then he closed the door and locked it. And then this Mata, she told Baba, I want to get up at Amrit Vela and remember you. Now I don't have an alarm clock. I have nothing. So you wake me up, and then you ensure that I will sit and meditate. So then you know what happened? The child, she had a child who is, 7, 8 years old. And this child got up at 3:30, the time that this Mata used to meditate. And he looked for his mother. And when the child couldn't find his mother, he got out of the room in which he was sleeping with his father, and he came looking for the mother, and then he saw a lock hanging outside, and he started beating the door badly. And he started calling out, Mama, Mama. And then the father got up, and this lady, of course, this Mata, she got up because there was banging on the door, and then it was 3:30, and she started meditating. She didn't know the time, but she just started meditating. And then when the husband came, and he looked at the watch, it was exactly 3:30, and he felt something, and he felt that, there is someone helping her. Because every day she gets up at 3:30, and today also nobody planned it, but this child made her wake up at 3:30. So this husband thought that, there is definitely some power helping her. And then when he had this thought, he thought that, okay, I do not believe in BKs, but I am also a God-loving person. So if God is helping her and God is on her side, and I tried to stop her but couldn't, so then standing against her is like standing against God. So then, he just opened the lock, and then he returned all the watches and clocks, and he set the room himself, and then he said, from today onwards, I will not stop you. You do what you want. And today that Mata has a Pathshala, and in that, in her own house, she conducts classes and other, programs and everything. And the husband is fully cooperative. The husband did the course also. So what I'm telling you is, Baba helps, but first we need courage. Yes. For example, I told you there are 4 steps. There is listening to the Murli. And you see, everyday Murli, when you want to be regular and punctual for everyday class, then, and there is a rule about the class, you attend the class at the same time every day. That gives you a lot of strength, and preferably morning. So early morning, yoga, and then early morning Murli, and then morning class. So Baba says that when you try to do this regularly, then there will be obstacles, right? There will be some things that will try to stop you or come in the middle of it. But then Baba says you need courage. You need to have this one determined thought that I will do it anyway. And then you don't make that thing that comes in the way an excuse. So it's just a thing, but when you start partnering with it, then it becomes an obstacle. Because when you are very powerful, do you realize your power? When you're with the obstacle is very powerful. But when you are not with the obstacle, you're with Baba, and you have this 100% determined thought that I will do what Baba asks me to do, come what may, then nothing can stop you. But if you start taking a situation and making it an excuse, and I'm not saying that you're giving excuse to somebody else, but making it an excuse in your own mind, that is what makes it an obstacle. If you start giving yourself a reason that I'm not able to do this regularly and punctually, so regularity is important, punctuality is also important. Because if you miss the beginning, you miss the link, then most things don't make sense to you. Yes, so yes, of course, something is better than nothing. But then, if you could have everything, that would be great, wouldn't it be? So Baba says that you must be regular, you must be punctual in your study, and you must be very consistent in your study. Every day, same time, Murli, same time, class. And Baba says when you try to do this, then Maya will try to stop you. But you have to have that thought of courage that I will do it come what may. And then you take that step of courage, and then Baba will help you. Then second thing, in order to become Lakshmi Narayan, what do you need? You need to have yoga. And when you sit in yoga with Baba, there will be many things that come, there will be sleep, there will be distractions, there will be your wandering mind, there will be pain in the back, pain in the leg, which will tell you that, it's better you sleep and meditate, and this and that. So there'll be a lot of stuff. But then Baba says you have to have that courage that, I will tell you, when I started meditating, at that time, I used to, feel very numb after 5-10 minutes, and I couldn't meditate. And then I used to tell myself, you have to sit here for 1.5 hours, come what may, whether you meditate or not meditate. So if you have to sit only, don't be foolish, try to meditate. And you're not getting up before 1.5 hours. And I used to, not give myself an option. And when you don't give yourself an option, then what happens? Then you will, your mind and intellect will cooperate. And then slowly, gradually, I started having good meditations, good yoga with Baba. So Baba says that you need courage. Everything starts with a weak thought, doesn't it? Yes. What dissuades you or what discourages you from the path of effort? A weak thought. And what is the act of courage? A powerful thought, a determined thought. So what is the sign of getting disheartened or moving towards getting discouraged? A weak thought. And then how do you overcome it? With a powerful, determined thought that I will meditate until I am able to. So, if you are not having good yoga, don't tell yourself, I'm not having good yoga, I'll try tomorrow. No, tell yourself, I will not get up until I have yoga with Baba. And I will try until I have that good experience with Baba, and then I'll get up. So that is the act of courage. Yes, if you're feeling sleepy, then don't tell yourself, "Let me sleep today. Tomorrow I will get up." No, tell yourself, "I will wash my face. I'll do whatever it needs. I'll get up, stand, and meditate, but I will not miss this chance today." This is the act of courage. And about, celibacy, purity, dharana, I gave you the example of how that Mata, with her act of courage, she overcame that situation. And I'll tell you about another incident about purity of food. So there is another Mata, and her husband gets very angry about her not having food outside. But she's always, very strict with her food, and however much her husband argues, she always has pure food. And then she went to London to her son with her husband. And then the husband said, "Now you don't put up this act before the sun, because we are going after so long, and then there are no, that's not your home, you don't have things ready there, so you will have to adjust. Don't say, 'I will not eat this, I'll eat only fruit.' That way, nobody will be happy and everybody would feel like you are hungry, and don't cause pain to us." And he shouted and gave her a big lecture before going. And then she went there and they were sitting on the dining table. And then she thought, "I will not eat come what may, but Baba, you have to help me." And then she was just remembering Baba. And when, the son was serving the food to her, the husband, he said, "You know what? She doesn't eat from outside. So let's give her some fruit. And then she's brought some bread. So let me serve it to her." So Baba touched the buddhi of the husband at that time. And then the complete opposite of what he used to say at home, he said that. And then she had pure food, and the son had no questions or no complaints because the father had, supported her. So then when she came back, she asked the husband, "Why did you support me there? You had given me a good lecture before going." So he said, "I can do at least this much for you. I have not done much for you in my life." So you see how your act of courage, just holding on to that determined thought that I will have that pure food, or I will practice celibacy, how it invites help from Baba and you overcome that situation. And then fourth thing, Baba says, seva. Without seva, you cannot have a good position in Satyug. And there are so many thoughts that come to your mind when you think about seva. And most of the times, people think that maybe I don't have the resources, or sometimes, thoughts of selfishness, miserliness, all of these things also come because our hearts are pretty narrow these days. So we don't have big hearts. So, that narrow heart doesn't allow us to do anything in Baba's seva. So then you have to have the courage to overcome that miser, or that, that person who doesn't want to spend a penny in a good task. You want to overcome that devil inside you, and then you want to create your fortune. Then second thing is, sometimes we think we don't have the resources. But if you don't have the resources also, but you have the intention and you have the courage to overcome those weak thoughts that I can't do seva, then Baba will help you, and he will help you do dhan seva, financial seva. And then about physical seva also. Sometimes, many people think I'm old, or I don't have physical health on my side, so I can't do physical seva. But if you have that thought of courage, you will be able to do physical seva also. I remember there was one Mata, she was very sweet, and she used to, whenever there was seva in the center, she used to tell me, I want to come and do Seva Didi. So she was 88 years of age, I think. And then I told her, what seva will you do? You just sit and meditate, that's seva. Then she said, okay, I can't do anything. I can at least, pluck coriander. At least I can do that. I will do that. So she would take all the coriander and chilies and stuff, and she would just separate the stem and stalk, and then she would say, Didi, don't. And in winter she would bring a lot of methi and she would clean it, and then she would give it to the center. So you see, that Mata, she did not think that because of my age I can't do. She thought about what I can do in this age. And when you think about what I can't do, that is a step towards disheartenment. And when you think about what I can do, that is a step of courage. So Baba says, be enthusiastic about becoming like Lakshmi Narayan. Do not get disheartened. Have courage and overcome the weak thoughts that lead to disheartenment. And then Baba today says that, it's very interesting. I found that very interesting in the Murli today. Baba says, impure people praise impure people. So when we all become impure, then we all, praise the impure people around us. And Baba says, in this world, there is nobody who is praiseworthy. Is it? Everybody is impure. Everybody is patit. And then you see there is this culture of praising everybody. And what are we praising? Impurity. Yes, just look at what are you praising. You're praising somebody's skin, which is not even, 0.1 millimeter. And then you're praising somebody's talent, which is, nothing. That's just because the market is for that talent, so you're praising it. If the market is not for that talent, then that person will be of no value. So just think about what are we praising these days, because gunas nobody has. People have only work, talent that can make them earn money. And that depends on the market forces. If the skill you have is market friendly, then you will earn out of it. But if it goes, that skills go obsolete and then they are not required in the market, and then you can't earn out of it, and then you become pretty worthless, because what you really were finding value in is not permanent. So Baba says there is no praise of anybody in this world, because everybody is impure, vicious, without virtues in this world. And Baba says the more interesting thing is, in Satyug, when we are all pure, we don't praise each other. Yes. In Satyug, will the subjects go and say, Shri Narayan, you're looking fantastic today. What a nice costume. They would never say that. Even thinking about it feels so weird. So we would never praise each other in Satyug when we are praiseworthy. And when we are not praiseworthy, then we have this culture of praise. And then the more not praiseworthy you are, the more contracts you sign, that you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and then you form a mutual admiration society, and then you are admiring each other and putting each other on a pedestal. So these things go on because everybody is impure and not praiseworthy. So there is so much craving for that praise, and then you create a culture to feed that praise, feed that craving for that praise. So Baba says, in Satyug you don't praise anybody, and here you praise everybody who is not praiseworthy. And then Baba says, now you understand who is praiseworthy. Only Baba. And then what do? You in your mind, you think about the greatness of Baba. And then when you do that, then what happens is you benefit out of it. You don't praise Baba for Baba. You praise Baba so that when you think about the virtues and the greatness and the qualities of Baba in your mind, then by virtue of being a child of Baba, you also start drawing in those qualities into yourself. Yes, so this is also something that Baba says, which was very interesting. And then Baba today says that if you make everybody content, yes, if you keep everybody contented, then you will move very fast in your effort. Because you see, when somebody is discontented with you, then their heart gives you the opposite of blessings. And when somebody is contented with you, they give you good wishes and blessings even without knowing. And how do you make everybody content? So, you will have difference of opinions, and that is okay. But in the face of difference of opinion with anybody, do not lose your regard. Always think respectfully, speak respectfully, behave respectfully. If you did that, then everybody would be content with you. You may do what they want, you may not do what they want. You may agree with them, you may disagree with them. You may have a completely different opinion from them. But the only thing that is necessary for keeping everybody content is this thread of regard. If you just had regard for everybody, everybody would be happy and content with you. And sometimes you do a lot for somebody. Sometimes you're getting up, waking, sleeping, everything according to somebody, doing what they say. But there is no regard in your heart for that person. And then there is no exchange of blessings. There is exchange of the opposite of blessings, because there's a lot of discontentment in that relationship. So Baba says, you have to keep everybody content, and when they are content, then they will give you blessings, and these blessings will help you on your spiritual journey and make you move ahead. Okay? Om Shanti.